Now, last night saw the highly anticipated return of ITV drama Bancroft, and it did not disappoint. Before we chat to one of its stars, Ade Edmondson, who is currently, well, dead in EastEnders, his dead character has also made a dramatic return, which is in... He's alive! So we're going to be talking about that in just a second as well.
Behind the wall!
Let's have a little look at Bancroft.
You're working to keep the community safe. It wasn't so outrageous. It'd be funny. You shouldn't have been up there. You should be in prison.
You know the IOPC exonerated me for the death of Kamara. Now, why don't you just let it drop?
Atif Kamara. This is about Catherine.
You clearly weren't listening to the chief, were you? This merger is about productivity. Now, HR have drawn up a list, and I am fighting for you, but...
You can't make me retire.
Well, you're not the policeman you used to be, Cliff. It's time to accept that. Go back to your family.
Ooh. He's here. He's very much alive. Please welcome Ade Edmondson.
Hi, darlings. How are we all?
Happy New Year!
Still kicking.
Now, you're not very likeable in this, are you, in Bancroft?
Well, but no, I am the force of justice.
Yes, I know.
But I'm not likeable. The evil one is the likeable.
No, isn't that just...
It's the way the world is.
I know. You know, you sort of described her as the hair of naughtiness, and you're the tortoise
of justice.
Of justice.
Yeah, slowly plodding after her, trying to catch onto her coattails.
Do you like playing Cliff?
Cliff Walker.
Yes.
Isn't it a great name?
Cliff Walker.
I don't think Kate, who wrote it, understood what she wrote, that he walks on Cliff.
Sounds a bit like a Game of Thrones character.
Cliff Walker, yeah, he's lovely. Yeah. He's a very dour, obviously, northern bloke, and I come from a family of dour northern blokes, so I kind of understood who he was.
Well, interestingly enough, and this really intrigued me, because you actually quoted here in an
you're
interview...
going to quote something I've said before.
You said
I'm going to deny.
You put in, when playing Cliff, you put, there's a lot of my dad in that role. My dad worked all his life, retired, did nothing much apart from eat ham, and then got dementia and died.
Oh, it's
and
very unkind of me.
I don't want that, but that's why I work.
You know, when I was at school, I got suspended. And my dad had to come and pick me up and drive me home. And I thought, well, this is an opportunity, you know. I can say what I really think, because he said, what do you want to do with your life? And I said, I want to be an actor. And he pulled the car over into a lay-by and put his head in his hands and went, Adrian, you'll never get a mortgage. And, you know, he comes from a generation, who suffered a lot. You know, they were kids of the war, and they had nothing very much, and sort of holding what little you had and getting a mortgage was the dream.
So knowing that
I
now,
had a bigger one.
Do you kind of look back more kindly on him in a way?
Yes, I do, yeah. I understand where they were coming from.
Do you think he would be proud of you now that he's seen that you have become an actor and you've been very successful at it?
I think I always made it difficult for them because the parts I became famous with were so shouty and sweary and
brilliant.
And
they were
sort of
brilliant.
not very sort of old people friendly. I remember doing a rubbish play in Nottingham called Grave Plots. I'm sorry, David, but it didn't go very well. And they came to see that. So it's the best thing we've ever seen you do. And it wasn't. There was just no swearing in it.
But you get, I'm kind of fascinated because you said recently that you'd had a bit of anger management therapy, and it resonated with me because my husband, who's fine now, but he went through a phase where he would get completely apoplectic with inanimate objects if they didn't do what he wanted them to do. And I used to sit there, a bit like I think your wife, Jennifer, and think, why are you getting angry with...
This isn't very pleasant to be
This isn't
near.
very pleasant. What did that stem from, you think?
I've no idea. It probably comes from, you know, deep in my childhood. And there are two ways of kind of addressing it. You can either go through that sort of regressive type of therapy and work out what it was, or you can do a sort of version of CBT. I call it Stoicism, in terms of the philosophical version of it, where you can change your first instinct to anything. You can. It's a question of training.
So how do you do that now?
Well, imagine you're in a car. This is a simple situation.
Yeah.
And someone cuts you up.
Yeah.
Most people are instantly sort of angry like that. You can train yourself not to, just by thinking. Just keep thinking about
that's
it.
the CBT
Keep thinking
method,
about it.
isn't
Yeah.
it? That's-
Keep thinking.
Yeah.
If someone cuts
putting
me
a
up,
little
I'm not going to be
marker in.
angry. So and eventually you're not.
And that's worked for you.
Yeah, it's easy. Life's
So does
much
Jennifer
nicer.
say you're
It is
better?
It is, isn't it nice?
It's easy,
Were you
isn't it?
angry?
I was never angry, but I get it.
All right.
But would Jennifer now say you're a lot easier to live with? having
I hope
done
so.
that?
Yeah.
Do you think that's particularly a male thing? Because it does... No?
No,
Anger
I
at inanimate objects, I mean?
My sister, yeah, she could have an argument with the remote for ages.
Yeah.
I just think it's not going to answer you back, Gemma, so...
Yeah. It isn't. Send her to me.
She'll take
I
you up on
want
that.
to talk to you about coming back from the dead.
Yeah.
Clearly, in a characterful way. You're
Oh,
back
well, I
in-
was never dead.
Well, you know what I mean. You're
about EastEnders?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I faked
in
my
EastEnders. You faked your death.
But you could see that he wasn't dead the following episode.
Yeah.
So you always knew he was around.
Yeah.
And now he's
Are
returned.
you, how long are you back in for? Are you just dipping in and out?
Well, he's got cancer and he's not having any treatment. So,
Oh.
so there's...
Will there be a final resolution this time?
I would think so.
You would think so. Okay.
Is it weird going back, or do you get excited? Because my partner
no.
was in, and he
Yeah.
said, if he ever went back, he'd really enjoy it. But
No, it was always the plan. It's just I had a job in the middle that they had to kind of work around.
Oh, OK. So you always knew you'd go back
Yeah,
in?
yeah.
I wanted to ask you, because when I was a lot younger, I used to see you and Rik on the comedy circuit, and obviously, you know, Bottom and The Young Ones was just iconic television for our generation. Do you ever kind of think about going back into comedy? Because a lot of guys are kind of going back out onto the stand-up circuit now,
Yeah.
like Ben Elton, for example.
I was never a stand-up. I mean, we were a double act.
Yeah.
So it's a very different kettle of fish, really.
Do you show your kids, who I know are all kind of grown up now,
Yeah.
have they seen your body of work back from back then?
I remember... I mean, they're all in their 30s now.
Yeah.
Well, one's 29, but... I remember when they were teenagers, some kind of anniversary of The Young Ones happened and a box set arrived on the kitchen table and they said, "What's that?" And I said, "It's what I used to do."
Have they not seen
for a
it before
living.
that?
Well, I think we'd sort of avoided showing it. And we sort of, "Do you want to see it?" And we put it on and they sort of watched it for a bit.
They must have thought you were cool. They were like, that's so cool. Did they? Please tell me they did.
I'm not sure they did.
I guess it was of its time, though,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was
I think-
so
I
brilliant
thought
at
it
the
was
time.
cool.
Or do you think it's just because it was you? Because it's the kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it had been
Your
someone
dad.
else,
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's not exactly the same, but obviously all of us were on the telly, and all our kids are universally unimpressed
Totally.
by what, what we do. I mean, so is half the nation. you know, something.
I love you.
Thank you so much.
Let me ask you, have you got set yourself goals for
yes.
2020?
I don't need to because I'm already beach ready. As you can see. I've just got to find a beach with people like me on it.
I like that. Well, the next Bancroft continues tonight. I haven't got my glasses.
9 o'clock.
9 p.m. Thank you. I thought it was 3.
And tomorrow.
And tomorrow.
Yeah, it runs over 3
Thank
now.
God you're here. Ade Edmondson. Thank you so much.